Hi, this is Mark Raven. Welcome to episode 231 of Lean Blog Audio. This is a post from September 21st, 2017, titled Free Webinar Today on Lean Collaboration Across Companies and Industries. Why Collaboration Matters to Me. Well, I hope you'll join me today for a KaiNexus webinar that I'm hosting. The topic is near and dear to my heart, as well as to others at KaiNexus. The theme is collaboration, learning, and sharing. The title of the webinar today is Effective Collaboration Across Organizations and Industries. Our presenters will be Teresa Hay McMahon. She is the Executive Director of the Iowa Lean Consortium, and she'll be joined by one of the Iowa Lean Consortium members, Stephanie Hill. She is the Corporate Continuous Improvement Manager at Kreg Tool Company. Kreg is, coincidentally, a KaiNexus customer. So the webinar today is at 1 p.m. Eastern, but if you can't attend it live or didn't get this podcast in time, you can register. You will be sent a link to a recording. You can find the link to all of that by going to leanblog.org/audio231. You'll also be able to find the recording of the webinar on our KaiNexus YouTube channel, and you can find it on our KaiNexus podcast if you want to just listen to the audio. And as a podcast listener, I'm guessing that might be the case. You can go find the KaiNexus Continuous Improvement Podcast wherever you found this podcast. So in the webinar, you will learn how the Iowa Lean Consortium brings together lean practitioners from every sector of the economy. You'll learn the difference between benchmarking, networking, and collaboration. You'll understand why collaboration is critical to continually improving. You'll hear examples of benefits gained through the presenter's experiences, and you'll identify ways to increase collaboration to achieve your goals. I've long seen the benefits of organizations collaborating with each other in different ways. My graduate school program at MIT, today it's called Leaders for Global Operations, is very much a collaborative effort. In the 1990s, the focus was on quote-unquote American manufacturers competing against the rest of the world, and collaboration through MIT was one way to do so. The program used to be called Leaders for Manufacturing, and in a way it could have been called Leaders for American Manufacturing. But the world has changed, and everybody, it seems, is a quote-unquote global manufacturer these days. But the collaboration remains amongst the sponsor companies of the LGO program, some of which aren't even manufacturers, hence the switch from the manufacturing to operations in the title of the program. Now, when I lived in Phoenix from 2001 to 2005, I was involved in an informal local group called the Valley Lean Council. I shared some of the story in the preface to my book, Lean Hospitals, where I wrote, when I was working in Phoenix, I was part of an informal network called the Valley Lean Council. I described it as, I shouldn't have used this word, zealots, a group of lean zealots from, I mean that in a good way, from different companies who met quarterly to compare notes and tour a facility. One of these tours was a hospital in Scottsdale that was using lean methods to improve its emergency department. This was my first exposure regarding the applications of engineering or lean to healthcare since my senior project as an undergrad, and it really piqued my interest. Shortly thereafter, my wife had a new job offer in Texas, which put me on the job market. And boy, I think I found a typo in the book. It says in the job market, which is just further proof that you cannot inspect inequality even with a professionally published book. Or maybe an editor fixed it and in the job market is preferable to saying you're on the market. But anyway, that collaboration in Phoenix really opened my eyes, which then opened doors into healthcare or allowed me to take advantage, to be ready to take that opportunity. Our efforts in Phoenix were more about networking and learning. There was a tiny bit of benchmarking, which was more focused on learning, and not really any formal collaboration between us other than the discussions we had during the site visits. When I worked for the Lean Enterprise Institute from 2009 to 2011, I was heavily involved in a group called the Healthcare Value Network, which was run through the TheÅ Center for Healthcare Value, now called Catalysis. At first, I think we had about a dozen healthcare organizations in the US and Canada who committed to learning, sharing, and collaborating. Over time, the network has grown to over 60 organizational members. They don't just meet up at the annual Lean Healthcare Transformation Summit. These organizations are visiting each other throughout the year through what Catalysis calls Gemba visits. And there's a lot of informal networking that happens online, over the phone, and through private exchanges. As I've moved around the country, I've been a part of or met with collaboration groups such as Lean DFW, which is mostly a LinkedIn group that occasionally meets up in person in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Massachusetts Healthcare Lean Network, Lean Central Florida, a group we're trying to get started here between Orlando and what we call the Space Coast area here in the state, the Bay Area Performance Improvement Network, and there are others. So I'm curious, what are your experiences with different lean collaboration groups or networks? What has the benefit been to you in your organization? Or what would you like to see happening in your area? If you'd like to post a comment, you can go to leanblog.org/audio231.